Today's actually the second day of the NFL season, and the two of the owners of the Green Bay Packers are on this call, and the game is on right now, which is unfortunate timing, I guess, but it is what it is.
Where's the pylon cam?
They have those in Brazil?
They got everything. They flew a jet out there full of football crap, I'm sure.
All
they're
their
gonna challenge you.
foosballs.
Welcome to the Purgatorious Pig Tavern podcast, a Dungeons & Dragons and craft beer drinking podcast. This is week 6 of the beer draft. This week we are drinking porters.
All right.
Excited about
Nice.
this one.
A quick rundown of the standings after week 5. Eric is in first place with 433 points. Cole is second with 430. Christina is in third with 417. I am fourth with 416. Erin is fifth with 361. But note, she is the only one who has not used her flex spot yet. So she has a lower max number of points than the rest of us right now. But we'll make that up next week when she uses her flex spot.
Nail biter.
Exactly. Thank you.
All right, so what are we starting off with?
Well, this is an interesting one.
So what I'm going to do is, in the spirit of fantasy football, every once in a while you have a player or two or several go down on your team. You pick the best guys, you put together the best team you can, and sometimes they go down and they end up on IR. So what happened to me is my first porter and my second porter, because I picked a bench porter. Both of them went on IR and cannot be found. So Oscar Blues Death by Coconut and the Dovetail Brewery Baltic Porter, both of those were not able to be found this last season. So unfortunately, we're not drinking those today. So what I did is I went to the waiver wire and I found a comparable porter that I wanted to choose as my alternative. And that happens to be the first beer we are drinking today.
It's a career ender.
It's a shame
all gone.
we were looking forward to the two that you had picked, the Oscar Blues Brewing Death by Coconut, which is a travesty that we couldn't find or they're not making anymore. And the Dovetail Baltic Porter, just something I don't think a lot of us have had before.
Yeah, I went all over Dodge looking for the Oscar Blues, trying to find it at all the different liquor stores in Colorado and actually at Oscar Brews itself. And they said they weren't brewing it at the time when I was there, and thought it was going to be seasonal and come back, but never came back by the time we're recording this. So at least we haven't found it.
Yeah, we even went to Dovetail to try and find it, and they didn't have anything there.
Yeah, and Dovetail had a seasonal schedule, and we thought that they were going to have it in February, but they didn't have it in February, so it's unfortunate.
So what are we drinking instead?
Yeah, as an alternative, so I'm going first because Oscar Blues was my third pick in the second round. So today we're drinking Urban Growler, which is St. Paul, Minnesota brewery that we visited at the time when we recorded the Cream Ale episode. If we haven't released it yet, listen to it when it comes out. Either way,
Keep an eye out.
Pick your poison. So this is a brewery that we hit up in St. Paul when we were venturing around, kind of off the beaten path next to, what was the name of that other brewery that we went to?
The one that was the green.
Bang Brewing.
Bang, yeah. Mm-hmm. Bang Brewing. So we went to Bang Brewing, and they happened to be right next door to Urban Growler. So after Bang, we wandered over to Urban Growler and tried a few of their beers, and this one stood out as a fantastic beer. And we were kind of like, it's a coconut porter. Coconut porter was on the menu, so chose it as an alternative, and it was a great beer. The brewery was fantastic. They label on their cans, and they let you know it's woman-owned, so that's awesome this day and age. But yeah, overall great Great brewery. Highly recommend if you're in the St. Paul area. And hope you guys enjoy this porter. Cheers.
I just read a Reddit thread of like best beer cities, and they listed a bunch of like all the users listed their beer cities that they liked. A lot of like Asheville, North Carolina was there a
Right.
lot.
Mm-hmm.
So it was
A lot of gimmies.
Yeah, Denver, Colorado was up there, San Diego. But somebody put the Twin Cities and listed all the stuff that was good there. And somebody underneath commented and said, "Don't sleep on Urban Growler." And I was like,
sure.
"Hell yeah, hell yeah!"
Hell yeah.
And to that point, I really like this beer. It's a perfect porter color. I think we were talking about this at the brewery. I think that the coconut is kind of like somewhere in the middle to the back end of it. It's a really good porter in itself, but adding the coconut, like a light hint of coconut, is really cool. It's not, as in your face as Death by Coconut, but it's certainly got a little bit of hint of that, and I think it's pretty good. I like it.
So I'm
Yeah.
getting the coconut definitely on the back end. It's not as pronounced, which I like. Coconut's not one of my favorite flavor profiles. I am getting like a cocoa taste on the front end, which seems to be on the strong side. So it might be covering the coconut a bit,
Yeah, maybe.
but it's a crisp, clean porter.
Yeah, I like this beer. It was one of the best picks when we were at the brewery as well. I think they did their darker style beers really well. And although I do like the coconut, it's not as forward in this beer. It does add a nice little hint of smoothness at the end.
You think if it warmed up, it'd be more coconutty?
Maybe. Because the cold kind of takes the flavor out a little bit.
Yeah, because the coconut's kind of an oil flavor, right?
Right, yeah. That's generally what's mostly retained when you add coconut to a beer, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
I mean, I enjoyed this beer. I took a sip out of the can, and it was very, very different drinking out of a Yeti cup versus the can itself, and then now out of a ceramic cup. Ceramic cup definitely has the most flavor. I think when I drank out of the Yeti, it took a lot of the flavor out of it. Just kind of interesting observation. But yeah, I like this one because it's a light porter. I usually shy away from porters, as I'll probably mention multiple times on this recording, but I'm not a huge fan of them. They're usually too dark and too, I guess, burnt for me. This one doesn't feel too burnt. It actually feels more like a cup of coffee, kind of in bitterness level. Still really good flavor. I enjoy it.
I think it's worth noting that like porters, the difference between porters and stouts, I think, where that porters, aside from the malts and some of the ingredients, the porters are supposed to be a lighter than a stout in terms of alcohol content. And a lot of breweries are kind of moving the bar on that, as we'll find as we go down the list. This kind of stays true to that light feel to it with all the flavor. And it doesn't say the ABV on the can.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like a lot of the stouts that we drink, I mean, they can be more syrupy.
Mm-hmm.
And I not being a porter drinker myself, I feel like, I don't know if they're all like this, but this one does not, it's not syrupy at all.
Yeah.
It is more like a drink.
All right, who's up next?
Well, I'm up next. That actually brings me...
Are you guys done over there?
Yeah.
Got to chug.
I chose the next porter on the board. I chose Back East Brewing's Porter. I like this beer a lot. It's like possibly one of my favorite porters of all time. Porters, I think, are an underrated style. Right now, I think they're kind of coming back into rotations of brewers. But as far as porters go, I think this one is like the most classic version of it that I've had in a long time. I love this beer, and I hope you guys like it too.
It's a Connecticut native.
It is.
It's very different from the Urban Growler one. It's almost like acidic at the front of your mouth. Is that typical of porters?
Oh, no, I think this went bad.
Not mine. Mine tastes fine.
No, this is not good. This isn't right.
Oh, what do we do?
Oh, this doesn't taste right.
Yeah, this doesn't taste right. All right.
This went bad.
Did go bad. Sucks.
Do you have a backup?
You guys have a porter that we have?
Maybe.
I don't know where all of our good beer is. Well, maybe this is a educational thing. So what makes you say that it's bad? How can you tell?
Well,
I can tell because I can tell.
I can tell. It's got kind of like a wine taste to it, right?
That acidic taste that I was saying? So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, the tannids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This was canned on 2/1/23.
Yeah.
Oof.
We did do this draft a year ago.
Yeah.
Why did you get this a year ago?
Because we thought we were going to do this really quick.
2-1-23.
But didn't
Yeah.
we record the draft in like October of 23?
Yeah. We had the idea in August of
It's 11
23.
months ago.
Yeah, but this was, I guess if the can was canned
Yeah.
2-1-23, that was February of 23. So yeah, maybe it'd still be on the shelves back then.
It was, because that's when I got it. So you can tell that it's not good. Normally this has like a really roasty flavor to it. It's not supposed to have that bitterness up front, that acidity that hits you in the front of the tongue. The smell also almost grapey. It's not right. So, all right. It looks like, just like in fantasy football, my guy got injured
On the first
play.
pulled an Aaron Rodgers.
Damn.
The highlight of this beer was marching out of the field.
Yeah, that's right. Marching out of the stores.
I guess.
So if this was regular fantasy football, this would be exactly like Aaron. If someone drafted Aaron Rodgers last year, played him in week 1, he went out on the 4th play and got 0 points for that
Yeah.
team.
I drafted Aaron Rodgers last year.
So right.
So this is that's what happens. That's what happens in fantasy. So
There's also a chance we got a fresh can too, and it could have potentially been bad, right? It's just the risk of.
I mean,
Yeah, it
yeah,
could've got skunked or something.
yeah.
I was gonna say that.
I don't think you guys should drink it. To be honest.
Oh, I've been drinking it.
Please stop. Please stop.
I think what would be hilarious is your least favorite style is Belgians, and that's what we're doing next week. And if you were to pick another flex,
No, I don't get to do that. That's not how fantasy works.
no, I'm just saying it would be hilarious.
Well, we can make our own rules,
Oh, we can, but
right?
we don't have another thing. So I don't have a border that you guys have, and that's the way the cookie crumbles.
This is the
It's also just the risk of drinking anything that's fermented, right? Like there's a chance we crack open something else that's newer,
right.
a newer can, and it's also just bad, right?
Yeah.
Things get bad batches or they sat long. Like I may be in a similar boat this week. Baby Jesus sat around for a little bit.
How funny would it be if Cole is the only one that has a non-skunked beer because
Mine was good.
He had enough time to recover after the injury of his other 2 choices.
My ABV is pretty high in comparison, so I think we'll be good on mine.
So yeah.
I think that was Eric's hope, was that we were going to do porters first, but we opted not to.
Well, with the next porter we're drinking, it was Aaron's pick. With the first pick of the 4th round, she picked
Jack's Abbey's Framingham. And this one is specifically a barrel aged. So this is the highest ABV. This is a style that's pushing the limits of what I think could be considered a porter. And they have many versions of this. We settled on one that was easily available in our area. ABV is 12%, so
Less likely to go bad.
Yeah. Well, I think Framingham is a Baltic porter, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
there you go. Still in the porter category.
Yeah, that tastes like a porter.
Yeah, it does.
It's much sweeter though than anything else I think that we're gonna drink tonight.
That's from the barrel aging.
Mine might be.
Yeah, it's from the
mine's
barrel.
on the sweet side,
Mm.
surprisingly.
Well, it's called
Oh,
Sweet
yeah.
Baby Jesus, so I'd hope so.
So you definitely get the barrel aged nose. You can smell this was definitely barrel aged, and it definitely comes in the flavor profile too. It is on the stronger side for more of the alcohol barrel aging taste than maybe the porter taste, like the coconut porter we tried. But Framingham is a great beer. I've had it before. It's delicious. Jack's Abbey does great stuff. So
Indeed they do.
Yeah, we talked about Jack's Abbey a bit on the last call too, right? Because they used to have that experimental unit right next door that we
Yeah.
couldn't figure out what it was called, and then we remembered it.
Springdale.
Springdale.
Springdale, yeah.
Springdale.
Yeah, we used to go there with you guys.
No, we went there
Yeah.
once.
Yeah, we
We
went there
stopped
once.
on the way. We stopped on the way up to Extreme.
You make it sound like it was a regular thing. But
You guys used to go there
we,
quite often.
we try to hit them up on our way up to Boston. They're not too far off the Route 90 there
Yeah, they're not.
Yeah.
for those that love beer.
Yeah, I think with this beer especially, it's got a really, really big base to it, which I don't remember as much. It's surprisingly drinkable for 12%, I'll tell you that. And
Yeah.
man, it's just fantastic. This feels kind of like it's stout though, but Baltic porters in general, I think, are much, much higher ABV. I think a Baltic porter comes in usually around like 7-8% normally. Barrel age it, you'll get up to 12% easily. And this is great. And of course, the good news is you can cellar this beer and it'll be fine.
Yeah, totally. The color is black as night. It's a really thick, dark color, which is, yeah, like you said, it's kind of like a porter or kind of like a stout. I mean, the sweetness from the barrel, I definitely get. The roastiness of the barley is awesome with the bourbon barrel. I think that the flavors go really well together and they complement each other well. And it's not often seen because everybody's always bourbon barrel aging their stouts. But I think porters are kind of a slept on style to go in barrel age. So I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
I like this. I mean, you can definitely tell it's a barrel age. So it has like that kind of like the feel or like I guess the sweetness that you would even get in like a Belgian, but it's like coffee. It's kind of interesting. But it doesn't feel overly boozy, although it does make my cheeks feel a little red right now.
That's the 12% talking.
Yeah, but it's good. Again, it's still not syrupy, but it is a little bit sweeter. And the coconut porter was more like a cup of coffee, and this is like a cup of coffee with a little bit of sugar in it. That's how I'm going to rate these. So again, I don't typically drink porters, but that's a positive comment from me, just to clarify.
I appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
All right, with the
Semi-professional.
first pick of the 5th round, Scott chose a beer that's near and dear to his heart in this category.
I took Sweet Baby Jesus by Dewclaw Brewing. This is one of the first beers that Ashley actually enjoyed during my time of slowly converting her into a beer drinker. So I almost had to take this one by default, and the fact that it was still on the board in the 5th round made my decision easy when I was filling out the roster. So this is a peanut butter porter, and there's no lactose in it. I made sure of that.
Yeah.
And yeah, delicious beer.
It's good. I haven't had this in a long time.
I think ours is okay. It's very, from what I remember, and this lives up to what I remember, it has a very, very not pungent, a very big peanut butter flavor aroma right up front. And that actually works nicely with the roasted malts inside of it as the base. And together it creates this really unique and enjoyable porter.
You can still definitely smell the peanut butter up front. I really was excited for this because I really like peanut butter. But you definitely, I +1 on the really strong aroma. It's really good.
Ours is tangy too. I think this beer I remember being tangy.
See, I thought
Scott,
the
is
last one was
this
good.
accurate?
Yeah, this first sip caught me off guard, but yeah, this is how I remember it tasting the last time I had it.
Yeah.
Is it like a palate change? Because the previous one was very different, being barrel aged. And so maybe it's just like going back to more like a non-sugared coffee.
See, in general, I think porters are not Baltic porters, but straight porters are more tangy because of they have a lighter feel to it. So it's unexpected in a darker beer, but it's on that spectrum where it's on the lighter, tangier side.
So this one is more like a coffee if you take that like powdered peanut butter and stirred that in there. Only it's like the smell, not the taste of peanut butter. I don't really taste a ton of peanut butter in it. It definitely is.
I think that's what I like about this beer because I don't.
It's kind of nutty, but not peanutty.
Yeah. I don't like peanut butter styles that are really heavy on the peanut butter. But I do like this because you get a best of both where you can smell it and then it's a hint, kind of like the first coconut porter we had, the Urban Growler, but it's not overwhelming.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me, I guess the mouthfeel of it reminds me of the pistachio cream ale from Indeed that we tried in the cream ale episode, right? It's just like that nutty, because like there's like that oil, nut-based oil in it. And it kind of has that sort of feeling. That's where I really get the peanut from and which kind of brings me to that taste. I think maybe I just associate it in my brain, but it kind of makes me look for the peanut taste in there.
Yeah, I love the peanutty flavor that you get on the front of the beer. And then it works its way through the roast, and then it kind of has a tangy finish to me. Really good beer. Solid. Delicious.
Hashtag drink more porters.
Hashtag drink more porters.
I think places need to just brew the porters for us to drink.
Oh, hashtag brew more porters.
That's true, yeah. I mean, we're coming up on porter season, so.
Oh, my bag isn't doing well. And Eric just like points the full water, and he's like, grab it. And I'm like, that's way too far away from me right now. It's kind of like one of those things where it's not like incapacitating, but I don't want to push it.
Yeah.
All right. The last porter we got here tonight is Christina's pick with the 4th pick in the 7th round. So way down there.
I picked Breckenridge Brewing Vanilla Porter. I'm just going to be honest. I don't really drink porters. I have never drank this beer before. Sometimes you have to play fantasy football like I do, where you just kind of pick a random person and hope it works out. I specifically chose this one, though, because I really like Breckenridge Brewing. I think they're a very good brewery, and I wanted them to be represented in this league. So that's why I chose them. Curious how my blind pick panned out.
At Breckenridge, the vanilla porter is actually one of their
Flagships.
probably one of their flagships. We get it out here in Connecticut almost all the time, especially during porter season. This beer, I actually really like this beer. I've always liked this beer, and the fact that Christina picked it, I thought was a very, very smart pick. Yeah. No, it's a great porter. I think the only thing that rivaled it was there was a vanilla porter from, I want to say, Saranac.
Oh, yes, Saranac Brewing.
But they
Not from Saranac. They're actually out of Source of the Sea or
like near Rochester. Utica.
Utica.
It reminds me of that, and that was like something that you could find only in special times of the year. But either way, I think this is a really
like your
smart
birthday.
pick. Yeah, my birthday. It's a fantastic beer. I think it does the porter style justice very well. It's like somewhere. This one's on the lighter side. It's somewhere between like an ale and that first Urban Growler porter we had, but it's good, and the vanilla is spot on. So I like this pick. Great pick, Christina.
Yeah, this one's has been around as long as I can remember craft beer, right? We said it's a flagship.
Yeah.
The vanilla plays nicely with everything. It's also like a good intro to porters. I think like if someone's not sure what they want to drink, this is something that's usually a good recommendation to have. So yeah, solid pick.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for vanilla porters. I love stouts. I love porters to an extent. The roastiness sometimes can get off-putting to me. It's like I dabble in IPAs, but an IPA that's too overly hopped just seems like it's too much. And sometimes porters get that way. Not saying that's what this is, but that's a lead into the fact that I love vanilla porters because the vanilla always adds this extra like creamy dimension where it's kind of like a food more than a beer because you get the vanilla flavor, you get the roastiness of the malt, and then you get like a little bit of that sweetness because the vanilla brings out some of the sweetness on the palate, I feel, for me. And I always love vanilla porters. So, and I love Breckenridge. This is a solid vanilla porter this is a solid porter for me. I'm always going to love this one. So I'm all about it.
You guys have been to Breckenridge Brewing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And ironically, we drank a lot of whiskey.
Okay.
In Breckenridge. That was at Breckenridge.
Oh, that was at
Distillery.
Breckenridge
But it
Distillery.
was
Yeah.
also-
Oh, yeah. We went to the brewery.
It was when we were in
on the
Breckenridge.
corner. Yeah. Yeah.
And then they also have a huge facility in Littleton, Colorado.
Oh, yeah.
So we used to go there to eat. It's a super, super good food. It's a lot of like home style cooking. What am I thinking? Like a meatloaf, shepherd's pie kind of. That stuff's not actually on the menu, I don't think, but ribs, that kind of stuff.
Oh, meatloaf,
I can't remember if they do have it. It's been a while
shrimp
since we were there.
tacos.
No, not shrimp tacos, but it was.
Oh, that's not on the menu?
No, but I'm saying it like I'm trying to give an idea of what I mean by home style cooking is like think that kind of stuff. Mashed potatoes, they're really good mashed potatoes. They have a cast iron cooked. It's not like cornbread, but it's like a sweet bread.
It's like sweet potato.
With
isn't
this, no, it's just a sweet bread with this amazing jam. Oh my gosh, so good. But anyways, so they can cook really well too.
So I don't think I've rated this beer, but I would go to Littleton. I think it's more accessible than Breckenridge for a pint of this, at least from our outsiders that don't ski. This is a really good beer. I love vanilla porters. If you can find a good vanilla porter with a strong vanilla backbone, it's perfection in my opinion. With that roastiness.
Yeah, I think vanilla, unlike the coconut, is not an oil flavor, so it kind of spreads out through the whole.
You get the layered effect of
Yeah.
the sweetness of the vanilla, the flavor of the vanilla, and the smell all together. It kind of highlights the vanilla, actually, this beer, like a porter. And this is an excellent choice.
It also kept well.
It kept
pick.
it?
It was in
Well.
glass versus cans, so that's another distinction. But
True.
it's an excellent beer, excellent style.
Well, thanks, guys. I guess
sure.
it's also a flagship for a reason then.
Hey.
Hey.
Well, with that, Scott was saying we should probably still rate mine, but you can give it, a 0, 1, whatever you want to give it. I should still do that just so we can get the points for it. Because
Say it.
All
It
right.
ran someplace.
it's like when you're like, oh shit, I gotta call Vinny Testaverde out of retirement again.
We'll quickly go through the scores then here. We'll start with Urban Growlers Brewing Coconut Porter. Eric, what did you give that?
19.
Aaron,
17.
Christina.
17.
I gave it a 17, which makes it 70 points. Next is Back East Brewing Porter.
But Back East Brewing Porter injured.
Injured. Aaron, what did you give it?
I gave it a 16.
What?
Yeah, I would have drank the entire beer if you didn't take it away from me. That's
Cole,
an honest opinion.
I gave it a 10.
Christina.
It's still a good
You know
beer.
what, Scott? I want to hear yours before I give mine.
I gave it a 6 because that's its ABV value.
Oh, pfft.
Oh.
What about tasting, though?
Okay, well, then I'm going to give it a 7 because I don't want to be the lowest. And a 7 is not because of taste or anything like that, but Roger, you hyped it up so
I
well
know.
that I had to give it a 7.
Oh no.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm more disappointed than anybody else here, I think.
I do remember this being a fantastic beer, and I did get some of the roastiness, so it was there.
So that gets you 39 points.
Wow.
Next, we will do
That's almost half.
Jack's Abbey's Framing Hammer. Eric, what did you give it?
19.
Cole,
19.
Christina.
18.
I gave it an 18, which is 74 points.
Bing bong.
Next, we will do Dew Claws, Sweet Baby Jesus. Eric,
16.
Aaron,
20.
Cole,
18.
Christina.
18.
That gives Sweet Baby Jesus a 72. For Christina's pick, we have the Breckenridge Brewing Vanilla Porter. Eric,
18.
Aaron,
20. I love porters.
Cole.
19.
I gave it an 18 for 75 points. So Christina wins the week with 75 points.
Sometimes they just really come out.
Framing Hammer came in second with 74. Sweet Baby Jesus third with 72. Coconut Porter by Urban Growler with fourth with 70. And Injured Back East with 39.
Aw.
That should drop me well out of the standings now.
So the new standings are Cole in first place with 500 total points.
On the head.
Second place, Christina with 492 points. I am third place with 488 points. Eric is dropped down to fourth place with 472. And Erin is sitting with 435 points, but has not used her flex spot yet. So she is sitting in a very good spot going into the last week here.
Whoop, whoop.
Seriously, gonna be a dark horse.
No, can't be.
So tune into the next episode where we will be wrapping up with Belgians. So this has been a Widgety Widgets production.
Yeah, you won't tell if they're skunked or not.
Oh, wow. That's how much he loves Belgians. This just makes this fun. We all have the styles that we love and hate.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Boop.